All right, this is a video of what to do if you're having engine misfire codes on a modern car. The Lexus, the Odyssey, a lot of newer cars have a coil on each spark plug. And this is a V8 engine with 4 on each side. So it's got a coil pack on top of each spark plug. Sometimes the coil pack goes bad, sometimes it could be the spark plug. So if it is the coil pack, I'll show you some ways to diagnose it. This is what the coil pack looks like. We're only seeing the top of it, and this goes all the way down. The spark plug is way down in there. So some things you'll need in order to do this job to get the spark plug out is a spark plug socket with a really long extension to get all the way down to where the spark plug is at. So some things to do if you have that, like if you go to the auto parts store and they scan it for you and tell you you have a misfire, is hopefully the engine is running rough all the time and it'll be easier to diagnose. On each of the coil packs there is a connector, and if the engine is running rough, this will be a little hot, but you can take the wires off of each coil pack one at a time and see if the mist changes. If everything is connected and one of them is bad, it'll be running rough. If you disconnect one that is not bad, the engine will run rougher. If you disconnect and it doesn't change, you've found the one that's making it run rough. That's how you can find out which one it is. So that's called pulling the leads while the car is idling. So while the engine is running and it's running rough, pull these leads off one at a time and see if it changes or not. If it doesn't change, then you've found the one. The engine code should tell you that also, but that's another way to do it. So this is what the coil pack looks like, and this is what we're going to try and take out today. On the Lexuses and Toyotas, this single bolt is real easy to use, and it's a hex head, which takes a standard wrench or socket. So you just put the socket on it and loosen it. On the Odyssey, it's got an Allen headed wrench, and if you don't have the right size, the outside of that is a circle with nothing to grab onto on the Odyssey. So you can just take a pair of pliers, grab it anywhere, and squeeze super tight on the handle. That's going to be the key point, keeping it squeezed super tight and then twisting it to loosen it. And if you are able to grab it tight enough and spin it, you'll be able to get that bolt out and be able to get the coil pack out. The Lexus is kind of difficult to show that on because there's so much stuff in the way. The Odyssey it's sitting up nice and easy for you to get to. So if you get that bolt out, don't lose the bolt. Unplug the coil pack and it pulls right out. See how long it is? Sometimes this rubber thing, it's joined right here. Sometimes the rubber thing will stick down in there, and in that case you can reach down in there with your pliers and grab the top of it, twist it, wiggle it, gently pull it until you get it out. Sometimes they separate and that's no big deal. All right, the first thing to do is to leave the spark plug in there and swap out to the new coil pack. Put the new coil pack in there. You'll feel it shove down over the spark plug, reconnect it, put the bolt back in, and start the car without changing the spark plug. Hopefully the engine runs smooth. If the engine doesn't run smooth, unplug, take the bolt back out. The bolt does not need to be tight. So if you don't have the right tools, don't tighten that bolt all the way down. It does not need to be tight. So if you do need to get the spark plug out, you need the spark plug tool, which usually has a hex head on the top of it and the long extension. If there's some stuff in the way, disconnect it from the wrench, put it down in there. You can see it is really far down in there. And twist it with your hand a little bit to make sure you're on the socket. Make sure your wrench is going the right way. And a key point is to not put any side load on here. Keep it right in the middle. If that spark plug gets broken off in here, then some professional help is going to be required. So hold the wrench really well right in the middle of the spark plug hole. Don't get it off to one side. Don't put any side load on the spark plug. Keep it right in the middle with one hand and loosen it with the other hand, and hopefully it doesn't break off. Since it's so far down in there, it's going to be hard to get out. Now you can see down in there, you can see the top of the spark plug. There's a couple different ways to get it out. You can reach in with your finger and try and pin it up against the side and pull it out. Use a magnet, or pull off a piece of vacuum hose somewhere on the car and push it down over the tip of the spark plug and pull it out. Super easy, right? I happen to have a magnet. I'm gonna cheat. This is what the spark plug looks like. This is the part that sticks up and might break off. That's what you want to avoid. And the coil pack goes down over it like that when it's all assembled down in there. So now you can get your new spark plug. You have to drop it down in there, so hold on to it as long as you can. You heard it drop in there? Be super, super gentle getting it restarted. You can feel it slide over the spark plug. Make sure it's in the middle, not off to one side, because you'll cross thread it. Have it in the center and start it with your hand. It'll start really easy, but you don't want to cross thread it. Go as far as you can with your hand, because you do not want to cross thread it. And then finally, when you've gone as far as you can, get your wrench back out, reverse it, Notice I'm gripping the wrench near the center of it so I don't put too much pressure on it. And then when I am ready to put pressure on it, I'm holding it so that the wrench is in the middle, perfectly straight, no side load. Tighten it up, not super tight. Reinstall this. Reinstall the bolt. Again, this bolt is not critical, so not super tight on that bolt, especially if you're having trouble getting it out without the right tool. Not super tight. Put the clip back on. Now hopefully you're ready to restart it and it'll be smooth. You have to put all of your rubber hoses back on and make sure everything like that is connected. So if it starts up and it's smooth, you've done a good job. If it starts up and it's not smooth, you want to reset the engine codes. The way to reset the engine codes on a Honda is to remove the negative, not the positive. Remove the negative battery cable, and it's a 10 millimeter. You loosen this, pull that off for about a minute, put it back on and retighten it. That's how you reset the engine codes to get a fresh start on a Honda. So the key point was pull off these things one at a time if you need to find it. The second key point was avoid changing the spark plug. So just do the coil pack first. If that doesn't make it run smooth, do the coil pack and the spark plug. There's so many risks involved with changing the spark plug that you want to do that as a last resort. The side loading, all those kind of things can break off the top of the spark plug, so lots of things can happen. We want to avoid messing with that at all. Spark plugs rarely go out. The coil packs are more likely subject. So if you have any questions, call me. That's your dad advice.